everybody, welcome to the first episode of Compared to What? I'm here with my co-host Federico Jorge, and this series is really going to be all about comparison pages. We know SaaS marketplaces are more crowded than ever, so being able to differentiate against your competitors is more important than ever. And so things like comparison pages on your website, while one specific thing, are a great way to differentiate and put a flag in the ground that says this is why we are different, we are better than our competitors. So my co-host, Federico here, founded a company called StackAgainst. Federico, tell everyone what StackAgainst does.
Well, thank you very much, first of all, for inviting me to do this show with you. And StackAgainst, basically what we do is comparison pages. That's all that we do. And we started this company exactly because of what you said. It's getting really crowded out there, but we still strongly believe that every company, every product is unique. And we just want to help these companies tell that story and tell customers in a very clear way why they should pick you versus your competitors.
Nice. So we have on this series the expert when it comes to comparison pages. So this series is going to be tactical. It's going to be practical, in the weeds, looking at things, our favorite examples, and talking about things we like, we don't like. Hopefully what you're able to pull from these different episodes is insights, ideas you can bring back to your team and implement on your own comparison pages. So Federico, what's this first example we got here, Airtame?
This first example is for Airtame, and this is the Chromecast versus Airtame 2 comparison page. And the one thing that I really want to highlight here is that with your comparison pages, you really want to lead with your comparison. You want to tell people right away what makes you different and why they should choose you. And this is not really happening on this page. And I'm sorry, Airtame guys, I think you have a really interesting product, but maybe there's some room for improvement here. And I feel that comparison is not happening in different places and in very important places. Like here, you have the main headline, which is just kind of it tells you what you're looking at, the comparison, but it's not telling you right away why they should choose you. And you can see I have a very big monitor here. Right. And I have this open in widescreen, and I don't even see right away above the fold why I should be choosing one versus the other. So that's a wasted opportunity right there.
Yeah,
and then
I know I'm in the right place. I know I've arrived at the Chromecast versus Airtame page, but great. I know I'm here. I'm here to find out why choose Airtame over Chromecast. You should tell me in above the fold. I think it's a missed opportunity there for sure.
Exactly, and if you've been funneling the right traffic here, visitors already know what kind of page they should be expecting. So tell them right away and try to answer that question right away. And then they have this great image here, great hero image. But again, that comparison is not happening. These two products look very similar. And the one thing that I identify here is the Google G. And that's because they have the brand awareness, right? You can't beat Google in terms of brand awareness. So how can this image tell me, or at least show me, these are two different products? Because right away, it doesn't seem like there's two different products. They're both in the same shape, same color, same size. So I don't know. Again, I think that's a missed opportunity right there.
So I guess what I'm hearing then is above the fold is your biggest opportunity to, one, define why you're different and really drive that home right away. And two, if you are going to have an image, use an image that does helps do the work for you and actually explain or show some of the ways that you are different, or the main way that you are different. Something that supports that main tagline or main point you're trying to make in the hero itself.
Yep, exactly. And then, if I show you Airtame's homepage, they have this very interesting, unique approach versus Chromecast, because they're not what you would imagine Chromecast is for. Chromecast, I've used the Chromecast before. I just plug it on any TV, turn it into a smartphone, and then stream Netflix or whatever, right? This is an entirely different product. It's built for hybrid meetings, so you want to use this when you're in the meeting room and you want to, you're with people, but then you want to cast something on the TV or something like that. So the use case is really different. But when I come here, I think this is why comparison pages are so valuable too, because somebody might know somebody might be desperately in need for a product like this, but the only thing that they know in their head that is a similar solution is a Chromecast. So they're going to go online and they're going to search for Chromecast alternatives because they want to find something that is kind of like the Chromecast, but built for their specific use case. And then they land on this page and it kind of like misses that whole opportunity to really tell that story. And I think that's the biggest sin on this page.
Yeah, no, I agree. We talked about this before. It's almost like an easy comparison or an easy kind of very clear comparison could be saying something like boardroom versus living room, right? Chromecast is for watching movies and TV shows, things like that, whereas Airtame is built for boardrooms, for business. Yeah, I agree.
Exactly. Like send the Airtame guys an invoice because that's a way better headline than what they have right now. Yeah.
Great. Anything else on this page?
Yeah, I think in kind of like it goes in the same direction. They don't use this section again to tell me what the difference is. They waste a lot of time like repeating the questions that people have in their head instead of answering that. And the comparison chart here, it really makes them look like the loser. Like right away, the pricing, which is always going to be a huge anchor in terms of making your decision. And they are like almost 10 times as expensive as the Chromecast. So this is not telling me why they should pick Airtame versus the competitor. And they kind of like vary the whole idea here. Yeah, being optimized for media casting versus what Airtame is built for, but they don't really bring that into the light anywhere. So I would say that's the problem here.
Yeah. Two things that I'm seeing from this page here is really above the fold, you've got to use that space to really drive home like that main point, right? What is it that makes you different and why should people care? And if you're going to use an image, make sure that helps do the work for you. And comparison charts, if you're going to use them, they need to also help and very quickly show people, again, why you're different. And you never want the kind of potential that someone might look at it and really not get it, right? And really not understand why you're different. And in your point, think that the competitor is the exact same as you. So great example here. I like this one a lot. All right, BigCommerce versus Shopify. Tell me about this example here.
Awesome. These are two great brands, very big brands in the e-commerce space. Shopify obviously being the biggest competitor, so BigCommerce wants to leverage some of that traffic, right? Leverage people that maybe Shopify is not going to be the best solution for them, and that's okay. I think like what I'd said before, every product serves a slightly different purpose, even though you're in the same space. So it's good that BigCommerce wants to tell people how they're different, and I think that's kind of like where this could be improved. This could be a better page in terms of conversion. Like there's this idea, which I'm not going to say it's a wrong idea, but the SEO aspect of having a comparison page. A lot of companies want to build these pages because they attract traffic, and that is correct. And I assume, I haven't researched this in particular, but I assume keywords like alternative to Shopify or cheap Shopify alternative and stuff like that, that's driving quite an interesting chunk of traffic. So you want to capture that traffic, and that is great. You want to optimize your page for SEO, but one thing that you want to remember is that comparison pages are first and foremost sales pages. You're talking to people that are very deep into the funnel because they've already researched your space, your category, and they want to know now why they should pick you versus these other alternatives. So they're really close to making that decision. And you don't want to waste that opportunity. You want to use this page to really persuade them to pick you. So I think some of the elements on this page are more optimized for SEO than the conversion side of things. So for example, this big headline here, it just kind of like the same with Airtame. It just tells you, yeah, this is a BigCommerce versus Shopify page. And I believe that's the reason is because this is trying to tell, like sending these signals to Google, right? We're using this big keyword, BigCommerce versus Shopify. on our main hero section, on our H1 headline, to attract that SEO aspect of it. But I believe you can change this and make this smaller and make this way bigger and turn this into like your big headline and really draw attention to what makes you different and talk to humans first and then optimize for SEO. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So you're saying with just, in terms of using some kind of custom code on the site or on the page itself, it's essentially you can have something as your H1 so that from an SEO perspective, you're getting that effect, but it's really, use just kind of boost up the size of the actual copy that you want to highlight, which is what makes you different, what makes you unique. So like BigCommerce versus Shopify could be like a little tag at the top above, and it could be your H1, but then right below that, you could have something that looks like the title and really delivers the message that you want to. I agree with that a lot.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's just a CSS hack. You just make this smaller, even though it's still going to be the H1. And this could be your H2. And this is more important because you are qualifying visitors, growing brands. You're telling people, if you look like this, then maybe we're a better fit for you. You're telling people save up to $20K a year. Like that should be a big conversion driver, right?
Right.
Yeah, some of these e-commerce stores are not going to have enough budget to pay for Shopify. So right away, that's interesting. And that's what you should be shouting. What makes you different? And maybe keep this smaller, don't bring so much attention to that, but still from a technical on-page optimization is still part of your H1. You're still hitting your target keyword, and then you focus more on the conversion side of things.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, I think sometimes when people get into building comparison pages like this, where you're building a lot and there's a lot of similarities, they kind of go with like a templated approach. I know I've been guilty of this too, where it's, okay, we've got the title, it's this versus this. We've got this image on the right, which is just kind of like our stock kind of image that shows BigCommerce, right? So I think it's taking giving thought to being like, for every comparison page, each one probably has a different message, or at least it could. And I think you really got to drive home, like, what is the message you're trying to deliver? What's the one thing you want them to take away from this page, if anything? Because they're really only going to be able to walk away with like one, maybe two things. And so yeah, I like this idea of like, have that as a theme throughout, but above the fold, you really got to drive it home.
Yeah, exactly. Above the fold, it's your main real estate. You want to make sure that if people read only one thing, that's here and that's very clear. And exactly that.
Love it.
And then I saw other stuff from this page, which basically tells me this is more optimized towards SEO than conversion. And let me show you some quick examples. You have Shopify pricing here as a headline. And I'm going to assume, I don't have obviously all the intel here, but I'm going to assume that's because that's a keyword that is associated to the comparison. And you want to use that there. And it's great that you found a way to use this organically on this comparison, but then you're really missing the mark on highlighting how this is different.
Okay, Drift. I think everyone knows Drift. Federico, let's walk through this example here.
Yeah, I think everybody knows Drift and Intercom too. So these are very big giants like clashing on this page. And I think this page is a really great example of how you should think about your comparison page. And the number one thing that Drift does really, really well is that they stick with one idea and they support that idea throughout the page with every section. Everything that they say talks about the same idea. Now, the main problem that I see on this page is that is not present from the get-go. And it kind of feels like all these examples that we're looking at, they all commit the same mistake, which is not using your hero section to tell people how you're different. And again, this kind of like puts you in a place where it tells you, yes, you're looking at the Drift versus Intercom page, but it doesn't tell you how Drift is different. So totally. I would say that's a problem here. And then they have this section, which I know a lot of companies have used this, like probably this is in many companies' swipe file, and they start with, we're going to give a nod to Intercom. And I think that's great. Kind of like diffuses this idea of people coming to your comparison page thinking, oh, okay, yeah, I'm ready for you to lie to me. Just tell me everything you're good at and everything your competitor sucks at, and it's going to be an absolutely biased page, and I'm not going to believe any of it. And this right away flips it around and just starts with telling people how great Intercom is. So I think that's a great approach. It's a very smart approach.
Yeah, I think it gives them a bit of credibility. People can think they can trust what they're seeing on the page a little bit more because they're saying Intercom is great, but if this is important to you, then you need to go with Drift.
Yeah, exactly. And now this is where they talk about what makes Drift different. So they even have this kind of like question headline here to drive you into that section. But I think the missed opportunity is highlighting this more. They start with a kind of like this lofty approach. The biggest difference is in our DNA, which doesn't really clarify things for people. And this is, so long story short, it's kind of like reading in a very conversational way. If you're in sales or marketing and looking for a platform built to help you accelerate pipeline, book more sales meetings, and close deals faster, all while delivering an exceptional customer experience, then you're in the right place. We'll get a Drift and the revenue acceleration category for you. This is what makes Drift different, and I feel this is a bit buried. Now, they do a great job at supporting this with every section that comes after this. Helps you start conversations, integrations with all these tools which are sales-oriented. They talk about don't get penalized for success, get unlimited contacts, which is absolutely important for sales teams. Personalization, targeting, everything that salespeople care about, it's all described here. And it's done with very solid copy, very clear differentiation. But they kind of like buried that a little bit because of this approach and because they didn't do that here on the hero section. So I would probably bring that to the top, and then you have your opportunity to do this, not to Intercom, and then go back to selling and showcasing your differences.
I agree. I think, that even in the copy there, it says so long story short. It's like, give me the short story first.
Yeah, right? Exactly.
Like give me the short story, then you can expand with the long story. But you shouldn't require people to read the fine print to be able to get to the actual punchline of like why you're different. I agree. I feel like that's a theme across all these pages that we're seeing. I feel like it's one of those things that a lot of people are kind of not doing right. So if you take anything from today, I think that's one of the big ones to take. It's make sure you're clear up front with like, hey, this is the problem that this is the problem we're trying to solve. This is why we're different in solving that problem. This is why you should purchase our product over this one. And so be clear. And then the rest of the page can back that up. So Federico, this was great, man. I loved walking through these examples, all really good examples. I think hopefully people who are watching today are able to take at least one or two insights away from this episode so that you can build your own comparison page. I think, I don't know, personally, I think comparison pages are a great way. Sometimes people are like, should we create one? Should we not? Is it the right kind of approach for us? I think it always is, because people are out there looking and educating long before they speak to you, trying to learn about your product, how you're different, what options are out there. I think the easier you make it for them to do that job, the better, but also the more opportunity you have to get out and say, tell your story and explain why you're different and kind of own that narrative. So yeah, thanks for walking us through these examples. I'm excited. What are we talking about on the next episode, just so that everyone knows?
For the next episode, we're going to be looking at the old product, the old technology versus the new product, right? And a lot of SaaS companies are built on basically disrupting a space and changing the kind of technology you're using to solve a problem. So we're going to look at some comparison pages that, instead of doing what we saw today, which is comparing a software versus another software, where maybe the differences are not so stark, are not so clear, and you have to do a deeper job in terms of describing the nuance of your solution versus the rest. This for this next episode is going to be easier to explain, clearer, and hopefully more fun.
Love it. Yeah, like the old way versus new way page. I think that's great. It's kind of so many people today, narrative, like having a strategic narrative is such a hot topic. And I think that a lot of these kind of old way, new way pages are that. It's the company's narrative. It's saying, here's the old technology, here's the old way of doing things, and here's why you really need to see things the way we do and really kind of move to this new game that's going to change your world. So excited for that. Everyone stay tuned. Hope you found this episode insightful, helpful. Hope you're excited and tune into the next one. And yeah, thanks for tuning in. See ya.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.